I'll be with you in a minute. Need to go cut this out. Hang on. Good fit. Let's talk about floor templates. No matter how many times you've got to go back and forth and in and out of the van to get it right, take your time and do it right. Using a cardboard template will help you get a great fit for your subfloor. To get started, grab a small piece of cardboard big enough to fit around the curve of the wheel well. I cut the small piece first with a straight angle, then I used cardboard strips and built them up around the curve. The more you use, the more precise your curve. You could also use a scribe here if you like. When you have the strips set, bring the small piece over to a larger piece of cardboard that will become the floor template, trace the pattern, and cut it out. If you haven't noticed yet, the wheel well on the single rear wheel transit is not at a perfect 90 to the van walls. It is off by a couple degrees. Once you have your pattern cut out, perform a test fit. Nice, eh? I'm pretty proud of that fit. Now let's zoom out and take a look at the full template for the rear of the van. We know our foam and plywood come in sheets of 4x8, so it was only natural to use 4x8 sheets of cardboard for templating. I cut my cardboard 40-inch width for each half of the van, giving me about 10 inches of overlap. The reason for this will make sense in a few minutes. With a snug fit, tape the two halves together, wrapping over the ends to keep it square, then add a long piece down the middle for extra reinforcement. With the full rear template ready, you can trace and cut your foam. I'm using 1-inch XPS. Test fit, and there you have it. A nice, snug piece of foam for the rear of the van. Save the cardboard template you used here for the plywood phase. Now let's pause for a moment. You may have noticed with the cardboard and foam for this rear section, I did not go all the way to the rear. I stopped at the end of the flat part of the raised ribs on the van floor. At a later date, this will be the furthest rear location for the installation of my aluminum floor joists. You may remember I tried to bend one over my knee in the first video. The placement of these along the floor will be determined by where my 80/20 modules fit in the van. Continue making cardboard templates and transferring to foam until you have completed the floor of the van. Note that none of my subfloor is attached, as it will all have to come up after the 80/20 modules are complete. We'll get to that in a later video. And by now you may be wondering why I made cardboard templates as two overlapping pieces. Well, as we get closer to the van walls, notice the bump outs where those rectangular holes are located. These bump outs decrease the width of the van walls above the 1-inch foam. When you reuse the cardboard templates for the plywood, take the tape off, reposition them, verify fit, retape, and then apply the template to the plywood. If you take your time, you should have a good snug fit for your plywood subfloor. Here at the sliding door entrance, I knew that I wanted a minimum 24-inch entrance. That's just my bare minimum. So I've set the subfloor for that for now, and I'm supporting the floating part with this little brace. Once I know how far out my kitchen module galley is going to come, I'll know if I can take off another inch or two from this subfloor and make the final width for my entrance.